So we've got to talk about this governor's race in California, where we recently just saw Eric Swalwell get ejected from the race due to these allegations that have come out against him, which I think he's in some deep trouble. Now, I do think there were some strings pulled behind the scenes to get him out of the way, because it's not like they just found out about this kind of stuff, right? According to a billionaire, I can't think of his name right now, but according to a billionaire donor to the Democrat Party, everybody in D.C. knew about this and knows about other individuals who are similar to Eric Swalwell. So this is no secret. They of course, are going to act like it's a secret, but it was no secret. Now, I want to get into, before we hop into a little more of that, and the weeds in that, I want to get into this clip because Gavin Newsom is now speaking out about the candidates and trying to distance himself from basically all of them. Yeah. With that being said, make sure you guys smack that like button. If you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button and join the family. I also have a second channel that I think you guys would absolutely love. The link is down below in the description box. It is called Extra Rich. Hope to see you guys over there. Let's hop right on into this, shall we?
In gears, obviously, Gavin Newsom is not thrilled with California's remaining choices for governor. The race is getting really interesting now that Eric Swalwell, the ostensible frontrunner among the Dems, has had to exit the race amid sexual misconduct allegations. But the problem is Newsom thinks the other choices are all terrible. He privately slammed them all. According to CNN, Newsom said the former Congresswoman Katie Porter would drive business away from the state. He dislikes San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan, the most moderate guy in the race, for personal reasons. He similarly has beef with Antonio Villaraigosa, and he doesn't like Javier Becerra either. Tom Steyer, the far-left billionaire and political activist, is currently leading the pack, though Newsom has understandable concerns about whether he could win and whether he could govern effectively if he does. That's the Democratic side, but of course the California election doesn't have sides at all. The top two candidates in the jungle primary are the ones who will advance, and right now the Dems are so divided that the top two candidates are both Republicans. Steve Hilton, the former Fox News personality endorsed by Donald Trump, is currently the front-runner. California Dems, they certainly don't want the election to come down to just two Republicans, so they're hoping Newsom and Nancy Pelosi will work together to help narrow that field. So it's bad news for them that Newsom's apparently dissatisfied with all of these choices. Steyer is indeed a very far-left person, and Katie Porter's been dogged by her own scandals. As I explained earlier this week, for all the deserved attention being paid to Eric Swalwell's misdeeds, Katie Porter's accused of violence against her ex-husband.
Katie Porter most certainly has some skeletons, that is for sure. And I talked about this a while back when the first scandal had broke out in regards of Katie Porter, when she was like cursing at one of her assistants because they happened to pop up on the camera behind her. And she just went crazy, just went bonkers. I'm like, that's not the only thing, right? This chick, she might legitimately be crazy, okay?
Demeaning and abusive behavior toward staff members and a dismissive attitude toward voters in California who don't see eye to eye with her. Remember this?
What do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump?
How would I need them in order to win?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%? Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. That's what you're thinking.
In a general election, yes. If it is me versus a Republican, I think that I will win the people who did not vote for Trump.
What if it's you versus another Democrat?
I don't intend that to be the case.
Huh. As for Matt Mahan, he's polling less well than Porter or Tom Steyer, though he has been rising in the polls thanks to some favorable media attention. Here he was on Morning Joe, touting his record reducing homelessness and crime, two big issues.
Before we get into that, Katie Porter, man, just looking at her, like, it's just something, when you see somebody and you're like, man, there's something, there's something about that person. I really can't pinpoint it, but like, there's just something about, I'm just looking at them and just, something's just not sitting right with me, She gives me those types of vibes, right? You just look at her and you're like, I don't know if you should be anywhere near power. It's just something about you. You give me, evil supervillain type of vibes. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something there. It's something there. You can't put your finger on it, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's jump into this other clip with the actual numbers in regards to this race, because it is seriously close, and I know a lot of people have been talking about it, and I know people don't believe it, but it is possible that two Republicans could possibly be on a ticket for the governor's race. Check it out.
Breaking news this morning, an exclusive poll from Inside California Politics and Emerson College gives us a clearer picture of where the race for governor stands.
Now, this comes after former Congressman Eric Swalwell dropped out of the race, shaking up the stage for our next debate, which happens next week. KTLA 5's Eitan Wallace joining us live from Sacramento to break it all down. Eitan, good morning to you.
Hey, Chris and Megan, good morning to you and everybody in Southern California. And indeed, this is really unprecedented. It's the first time we've ever re-polled ahead of a debate because of such an unprecedented turn of events in this race. And this morning, we have the results. Just days after Eric Swalwell dropped out of the race for California governor, this new exclusive poll from Inside California Politics and Emerson College gives us a first look at how his exit is reshaping the race. The survey of 1,000 registered California voters shows Republican Steve Hilton leads with just over 17%, while Riverside County Sheriff Republican Chad Bianco and climate activist Democrat Tom Steyer are tied for second at 14%. Rounding out the top five, Democratic former U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary and California Attorney General Javier Becerra and Democratic former Orange County Congressmember Katie Porter, both tied at 10%.
Swalwell's exit from the race has completely changed the dynamic here.
Matt Taglia helped conduct the survey. Of all the candidates, he says Becerra saw the largest gain since last month's poll.
Becerra is very much the clear winner, so to speak, in this poll. He was previously at about 3%. His increase of 7 points is startling, frankly.
And it means he is officially qualified for Nexstar's upcoming gubernatorial debate, scheduled to air right here and on Nexstar stations across the state, as well as News Nation. It's all set for next Wednesday night at 7 p.m. in San Francisco, moderated by Frank Buckley of KTLA 5 and Nikki Lorenzo of Inside California Politics. To qualify, candidates needed to receive at least 5% support in the poll. Hilton, Bianco, Steyer, and Porter had already cleared that bar. But with this latest survey, Becerra and San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan now join them, officially locking in their spots on the debate stage.
Mahan and Becerra ought to be very happy. They're guaranteed to get much more attention than they would otherwise. And we'll see how they do in debate. But it's much better to be in the debate than outside of it.
Meantime, nearly a quarter of voters, 23%, say they are still undecided.
Very much an open race.
All the more so why Claremont McKenna College professor of government Jack Pitney believes the upcoming debate will be pivotal as candidates look to reach those key undecided voters.
It can move only a couple of points, but in a very tight race, a couple of points can make the difference, especially when people are unfamiliar with the candidates. This time, attitudes are much more fluid. People really are making up their minds, and that's a situation in which a debate could make some difference.
And so there you just heard from those analysts. They believe the big winners here are Becerra and Mahan. In fact, Nexstar just sent them their official debate invitations just a few minutes ago when this news broke. Now, of course, not everybody qualified for this debate, including former Los Angeles Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa, former State Controller Betty Yee, and Superintendent Tony Thurmond. Meantime, that debate now 6 days away.
Yeah, I want to go back to that poll there because there was something that was quite interesting. Now, while it is possible that two Republicans can come out on top, which would be absolutely hilarious, because even if you didn't want the Republican, those are your only two choices, buddy. Okay, so that would be absolutely hilarious. Now, the likelihood is that there's going to be one Republican along with a Democrat, and we all know how that's going to play out. Democrats are just going to vote for the Democrat because of this number down here. That 23% right there. That right there is one of these Democrats up here, Tom Steyer, Becerra, Hopefully not Katie Porter. My goodness, I mean, she's absolutely terrible. Even for a Democrat, she's absolutely terrible. But one of these guys is going to get, a chunk of that, and it's going to boost them up to somewhere, above Chad Bianco probably, and they're going to take on Steve Hilton. It also is possible that that 23% could get washed out down here in the weeds, Now, I doubt that scenario, to be just completely honest. I think it's going to be a Democrat and a Republican, right, in the race, or in the general, and the Democrats obviously going to win, which I don't know how California hasn't really gotten the message yet. Stop voting for these Democrats, but we all know that's the way it's going to go. It would be fun to have 2 Republicans, but in all likelihood, it's not going to play out. And it's also hilarious that if it is true that there were some strings pulled behind the scenes to get Eric Swalwell out of the way so that a Democrat rose in the ranks to be above, to sit above, somebody like the Republican like Chad Bianco, it's hilarious that didn't even happen. Didn't happen. Still, the Republicans lead the race right now. Still, they lead. Even after Eric Swalwell being ejected out of this race. Incredible. But y'all get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions. How do you think this is all going to play out? Will it be a Republican versus a Republican? Or will it be a Republican versus a Democrat? And do you think there were some strings pulled behind the scenes to get Eric Swalwell out of the way? Let me know. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.